We're still roughly 5 months away from Election Day, but one of the most powerful Republicans in Congress is already gearing up to take on large-scale action if Donald Trump returns to the White House. In an exclusive interview with Semafor, House Speaker Mike Johnson said he plans to push a legislative package that would address a wide range of issues if Trump is reelected in November, and says he believes Trump can be, quote, the most consequential president of the modern era. Kadia Goba, the author of this article, joins us now from Semafor. Good to see you, Kadia. Thanks so much for being here. I want to get to your interview in just a moment, but you also cover Capitol Hill. And on Capitol Hill today, Dr. Anthony Fauci was grilled by lawmakers on the origins of COVID-19. I'm going to play a little bite from the hearing, and we'll talk about it.
We should be recommending you to be prosecuted. We should be writing a criminal referral because you should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. You belong in prison, Dr. Fauci.
Some of our colleagues in the United States House of Representatives seem to want to drag your name through the mud. They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration.
Whew, all right. So what are they trying to accomplish here in this hearing, essentially, politically?
So, yeah, surprisingly, I like to look at this as sort of a period on the whole COVID thing. This was Republicans didn't have a chance to grill Fauci in the past. If you recall, this committee originated during COVID. So Democrats were in control, and their main objective was, making sure that people addressed certain issues that were going on. Republicans have always pushed back about the origins of COVID and really, really punched Democrats in the face about not having a hearing. I think this means that there's going to be a closure to this hearing or to this committee, and this would be the end of it. But there was a lot of tension because Republicans finally got a moment to ask Fauci about the origins.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if this becomes or continues to be a campaign issue as we get closer. I do want to ask about your interview with Mike Johnson, though, because it was really revealing about kind of the legislative agenda that he hopes to push if Trump is elected. And he seems to be assuming that if that happens, then Republicans would also keep their majority in both in the House and gain one in the Senate. What did he tell you about his approach?
Yeah, I was surprised. It was pretty ambitious. He wants to use this kind of legislative magic called reconciliation with the assumption that Republicans will have the executive branch in both the Senate and the House and push through some legislation, but like a lot of legislation, like on immigration, obviously the big tax, all the tax measures that are expiring, as well as some energy stuff. I don't know if that's going to happen. Well, first of all, they have to win all of those seats. They have to win the presidential. But I thought it was very ambitious. He said he wanted to, do all of that. Some of it is probably messaging to say, voters, give us the House. This is what we'll do. Or give us the presidency. This is what we'll do. But I thought it was very aggressive, and unlike what historically reconciliation even does at this point.
Right, because usually it's used just for kind of tax measures, and it would be essentially a way to be able to pass things without the higher majority.
Avoiding the filibuster in the Senate.
Exactly, but it was interesting to me because it seemed also like he had been in close contact with the former president himself. We know that they've met recently. He came to his defense at the trial. Did it tell you anything about that sort of relationship or what that relationship might be if, in fact, Trump is elected? Yeah,
when the team actually outlined what each leader's position was in this, they essentially said that Johnson was the person that was going to be the liaison to the administration. So I thought that was very telling and very presumptuous that he would be the speaker going into 2025. Again, I think also probably a great messaging tool for him to talk to some of the Republicans to say, hey, I have Donald Trump's back. This is what we are going to do together.
And to kind of say, hey, we're in this together. Also, he mentioned too that he had learned from past mistakes, or that Republicans had learned from past mistakes legislatively. What exactly was he referring to?
So typically with the reconciliation, you want to focus on one specific item and push that forward. And that's what he's saying. He's saying he's not going to be that conservative. He's going to be very broad and, you know, trying to establish a lot. I'm not sure that's going to work. It did not work for Democrats a few years ago. So we'll see. I think they have the best chance of pushing through the tax measures, though.
All right, we will see. Kadia, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.